What's going on, everybody? I am back with another Prize Picks NBA player props video. This one going to be breaking it down, giving you guys 3 picks to get you into money over here on Prize Picks in the NBA tonight. As always, coming fresh off a 2-0 sweep last night. Gave you guys 2 picks yesterday. Wanted to get them out before the bumps. They were both able to cash in. The day prior, we went 2-1. Unfortunately, Scotty Barnes, if you remember, if you tailed that day, he had an assist given to him. He cleared the fantasy score, then they took it away. Ended up not quite clearing, but we are on a 4-1 run. So we're back on a run. If you don't know how I do those on this channel, I try to get on a run that consists of a streak where we keep that winning percentage over 70%. So that's the goal. We're 4-1 right now, looking to keep it over 70%. Got 3 more for you today. If you enjoy this content, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. It is free. It takes 2 seconds to do. We came off a fresh 2-0 sweep yesterday. If we can get this thing up to 500 likes, that's always going to be the like goal for these videos. I would greatly appreciate it. Once again, it's free. It does take 2 seconds to do, and I will be returning that value to you guys for free all NBA season long. If you're really looking to step up your game, check out the VIP member package. I got some shout-outs to give. I have not been able to give some shout-outs these last few videos, so I got to put them up on the screen. Last 2 nights, some of my own tickets, we were able to cash in on that Kyrie fantasy, Draymond fantasy 2-man, as well as the Spencer Dinwiddie, Chris Paul 2-man last night. All 4 of those picks were actually some picks that I gave out on the channel for free just because of the timing. I give you guys 3 picks from my core plays. They might be some of my top 2. They might be some that are kind of towards the bottom of the list, but I just try to get them out to you guys with plays that will not bump. We also had Carlos 12, Darth Vader, and Plato cashing in with some of their own plays. Carlos mixing in that DeAndre Ayton fantasy. Great call with the Spencer Dinwiddie points. Darth Vader with a nice 4-man power play, and the same can be said there on the right with a 3-man power play for Plato, and then 3 more for you. G-Bubba 43, Bishop, and Lil Uzu. Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Joe Burrow, Spencer Dinwiddie. Second half mixed in with that Burrow free square. Nice cash there. Bishop with the Chris Paul and Dinwiddie 2-man, as well as the Rozier, Jared Allen rebounds and assists, and then G-Bubba there on the left side, once again cashing in on a second half play over there. So if you have not checked out the KJK DFS VIP member package, would highly recommend you check it out. I do offer lower tier packages as well. If you're looking for a little bit of a cheaper alternative, you're going to get access to all of my core plays, all of my research plays. At the end of the day, I'm going to give you a full list. You can mix and match your own tickets, but bumps may occur. If you're looking for those instant alerts, as well as all of my own personal tickets, all sports that I cover, all apps that I cover, do check out the VIP member package. Not to mention the core play tiers. You're going to get core 1, 2, 3 as far as my top plays, the play of the day. Once again, sometimes I have to wait till my research is complete for the play of the day as well, so I try to give out a play that hasn't been bumped there as well. And the community ticket building, not only myself, but you're going to get access to that entire community. It goes back to the whole saying, you are who you surround yourself with. Every single person in there grinding to win money. If you get yourself in there, you're talking with other people, doing research every day, etc. Obviously, that's going to help you step up your game as well. So check that out if you're interested in. Without further ado, let's talk about the picks today. Got 3 for you, and I got a game that I'm very high on tonight. It's going to be the Toronto Raptors taking on the Golden State Warriors. This game comes in with a 235 over-under. It is a 5-point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. It is expected to fly, which is no surprise because obviously the Golden State Warriors do play at a very fast pace. Looking at the latest as far as the top pace teams in the entire NBA, Golden State comes in as the #1 team in the entire NBA with a 103.18 pace metric. So obviously any game that they're involved in, it's going to be very high paced. Toronto Raptors come in as the 26th fastest paced team in the league, so it's a big pace-up matchup for them. And we do have some very reliable minutes, very reliable usage on both sides of this game, which makes me happy. Obviously, the more predictable, the better for us, and I would like to start on the Toronto Raptors side with Nick Nurse in that predictable rotation with Fred VanVleet. Guy's been absolutely killing it as of late, especially from a fantasy point per minute production aspect. You look at the last 2 weeks, he's had 5.4% usage rate on this team. That trails only Pascal Siakam, but he's leading the entire team in fantasy points per minute, putting up 1.25 fantasy points per minute. Very, very good. You look at his production on the entire season, he's sitting around 1.06, so he's been producing a lot better. He's also got a 22% usage rate on the season. As you can see, it's up to a 25% usage rate over these last 2 weeks. So the form is looking really good, and you look at how he's getting the job done. I mean, the guy does it in so many different categories. The blocks and steals, you're going to get 3 points for every one of those. Once again, the Toronto Raptors rotation, you can expect him to play in the upper 30s of minutes. Last time against an up-paced Sacramento squad, he put up 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 4 steals, 17 points. The time prior, 28 points, 2 steals, once again contributing in those peripheral stats, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 rebound, 10 assists, 1 block, 2 steals, 25 points a time prior. He's just been so consistent in all the categories, and especially in a pace-up matchup, it's always going to be something that really does catch my eye when it comes to Fred VanVleet. And with this 235 over-under, he's been absolutely crushing his fantasy, and I do expect that to continue tonight. He has cleared this in each of the last 5 games, averaging 50.9 over that last stretch. And you really can't ask for much of a better matchup as far as against his Golden State Warriors. They're giving up 39.8 fantasy points per game to point guard starters, 8 assists per game to point guard starters, 7.2 field goals per game to point guard starters. And Fred VanVleet's going out there and averaging around 47 fantasy points per game in 10 close games, 38 over the last 36 games overall. They got his line set right there, but once again, he's been up there right around 47 fantasy points per game in a game with this kind of spread in this kind of game environment. So I do have him projected in the lower 40s from a base projection aspect with a ceiling of 50 plus in my latest projection run over here. So really do like this pick for sure. I think Fred VanVleet continues to crush in this matchup, specifically fast at pace, 50.9, and they still have that fantasy score only in the upper 30s. Not quite sure why it's so low, but we will not complain. Definitely do like this pick for pick number 1. We're going with the over 38.5 fantasy score here for Fred VanVleet. That will be pick number 1. Pick number 2, we're going to kick it on down to the Golden State Warriors side. 120 over under for them, 198 as far as the money line is concerned. And I want to talk about another great fantasy point per minute usage guy on their team. You might have heard of him before. Stephen Curry, once again, with a 120 implied team total for the Golden State Warriors. I'd expect him to have some very good success in the fantasy score production rate. He's got a 30.5% usage rate over the last 2 weeks with 1.19 fantasy points per minute. You compare that to his season rates as far as how Stephen Curry has been doing. He has been putting up 1.38 fantasy points per minute on the season. So he's actually on the other end of the spectrum where the fantasy point production hasn't been quite as good as of late. But as far as I'm concerned, we can definitely lean on the larger sample size when it comes to Curry. A couple bad games, not going to be something that's going to talk me off a guy like him with that amount of usage, that amount of fantasy point per minute production. Like I said, 1.38 for him on the season. And in a fast up-tempo game environment, do expect him to kind of, go back to that kind of production. He's been kind of off and on with some injuries throughout the season, but he's been back for a while now. He played 35, 38, 43 minutes the last 3 times out. That game against Memphis really didn't contribute in that many of the other categories besides the points category, which is a little bit rare for him, honestly. He put up 34, 2 steals, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds, but typically we're looking at, you can see 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 26 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 29 points. Very similar to what we talked about with Fred VanVleet. Obviously, point guard, on-ball handling responsibilities, a lot of usage, a lot of time on the floor. He's going to be able to rack up those stats, and I do once again have him projected over his fantasy score over here on Prizepicks. They've got his line set at 42.5 from a fantasy point projection aspect. As far as my latest odds, or my latest projection on Curry, I should say, I got him projected in the mid-40s with a ceiling of, once again, 50+. And Toronto's been giving up a lot of fantasy points to point guards once again. 36.9 fantasy points per game to point guard starters, 7.8 assists per game, 7.8 field goals per game. All looking really, really good here from a matchup aspect for Stephen Curry to eclipse this 42.5 fantasy score line. And like I said, as of late, his fantasy point production has been down. I don't really care. I just think that's more of a coincidental thing rather than, his minutes aren't down, his usage isn't down, none of that. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors have had some health issues throughout the season. They got Draymond, Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole. Wiggins is questionable in this game. If he's out, sure, it helps Curry. If he's in, I don't really think it hurts Curry too much. Bottom line is Curry's the top usage guy on this team. So pick number 2. We're going with the over 42.5 fantasy score here for Stephen Curry. That would be pick number 2. And then pick number 3, going to stick on this Warriors squad and maybe a guy that people aren't quite paying attention to as of late, but we talk about recent form. Jordan Poole has really taken on a larger role in this Golden State team this year. He got that big contract, came back. You look at his fantasy point per minute production over the last 2 weeks. You want to talk about a guy that you might not quite understand has as much of a role as he does in this team. He's second on the team in usage to Stephen Curry, and he's putting up 1.15 fantasy points per minute. As far as his total fantasy point per minute production on the season, 1.02. So nice little tick up in his fantasy point per minute production. The results have been there. And you look at how he's getting the job done. I mean, the bottom line is it's Stephen Curry and then Jordan Poole staggering minutes as far as on-ball handling responsibilities. So in a fast up-tempo game environment, not too concerned about, one affecting the other. They're both going to get theirs as they have been lately. If you look at the game logs for Jordan Poole, he's cleared in each of the last 5. 2 of those games Stephen Curry's been in, or 3 of those games, I should say, you can see he's cleared as well. Just came up short in the other 2, but once again, every game environment's different, every matchup's different. We're talking about a 235 fast total. Jordan Poole, 1.15. You look at the game logs, once again, very well-rounded. 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 17 points. He's actually been really doing a great job in the steals category. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 32. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 24 points. The blocks and steals, once again, 1, 2, 7, 3, and 32 against Washington. And in competitive ball games, he's been playing anywhere from 30 to the upper 30s minutes. But regardless, he's been getting the job done. Obviously, my projections weigh all this stuff in. And you can make an argument that he's possibly my favorite play out of these 3. I really like all 3, but Jordan Poole I've got projected in the upper 30s. They've got him in the lower 30s. I've got him getting the upper 30s with a ceiling of 45 or more here. So mid-40s upside. Last time against Toronto, he put up 52 fantasy points, if that means anything to you. I don't really think that's too important, but matchups are matchups. They're giving up 3.7 assists per game to shooting guards. Starters, and a lot of fantasy points. So once again, great matchup for Jordan Poole. Do have him projected well over. He's cleared this in each of the last 5. I do expect that trend to continue here. If Andrew Wiggins is out as well, that's just a nice little bonus for us when it comes to Jordan Poole. If Wiggins is in, I'm not concerned, but I do think if Wiggins is out, obviously, that just becomes an even better thing for Jordan Poole, more usage. Once again, though, I'm taking this play even if Wiggins is in. As of right now, I'm just considering Wiggins in because you have to. He hasn't officially been ruled out. We can't just go ahead and say he's out. But regardless, just want to make that known. I do like the plays. So for pick number 3, we're going with the over 32.5 fantasy score here for Jordan Poole, and that will be my 3 picks to get you winning some money over here on Prizepicks in the NBA tonight, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. If you haven't checked out the premium content packages, I don't know what you're waiting on. You got a whole lot more value going on over there. Check those out. And if you haven't checked out Prizepicks, you can use that promo code KJK DFS to receive an instant match on your first deposit up to $100 today when you do so. So, wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks NBA player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.